DJGamers.com.
Alright everybody, we're going to take a look now at Karateka. Is that how it's pronounced? Karateka?
Karateka, Karateka.
Karateka.
Maybe it's Karateka. This is from Broderbund, mostly known as a PC developer, but they supported a lot of original titles.
Oh, look at this. Is this story in an Atari game?
Yes, this is a little bit of a backstory.
Wow, this one's really advanced.
Well, that's it for the backstory. Just one little deal here. But there is a cutscene if we succeed.
Oh, yes. This
young,
is the...
Young Grasshopper. This is an early fighting game.
I don't think I could skip it.
Well, read it up.
Well, yeah.
Enjoy it, ladies and
Enjoyed
gentlemen. You need to enjoy this storyline.
This is the way of the Karateka.
This is getting you in the mood.
Karateka.
Karatra. Yeah. So this is what they were trying to sell the system with. This is one of the better titles for the system.
No, idiot. Don't.
Oh, you're screwed.
Oh.
There you go.
After all that.
The end.
Okay, at least we get to start with gameplay this time.
Alright.
Alright.
So let's talk a little bit about the differences between the systems that were out at the time.
No.
Yeah, this was an 8-bit system competing mainly with the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Sega Master System. They were pretty much the main three of that console war, the three that had any kind of success.
And this was definitely the less powerful of all three systems, as you can tell from the video you're seeing. Most who are familiar with Nintendo understand what it could do. Kirby's Adventure being probably the high mark of the system, and Balloon Fight being low mark. But anywhere between that, it had excellent graphics, and it could definitely do character. And the Sega Master System was even more advanced than that.
Yeah, the Sega Master System was probably more powerful than the NES in most aspects. That would be the...
And also in the sound quality.
Yeah, it had a better sound chip, but we didn't get that in America.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this system. Check out our console war videos for those systems to see comparatively what each one brings to the table. This one, I think, in all ways, was the lesser of the three.
I'm just trying to get my mind off the shitty controls.
And this game's rough because you have to set yourself for your stance, and then you can only make certain attacks in certain stances.
Yeah, you have to hold one of the triggers down.
Definitely a learning curve.
Yes, it wasn't exactly pick up and play. And then you're supposed to do stuff with the stick, but it doesn't really do anything.
For anyone who's played a modern fighting game, say made after 1990, it's pretty stiff. But at the time, there really wasn't much else like it out there.
With it, Nintendo's
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, yeah.
And this is pretty much the how a fighting game's set up nowadays.
I'm trying to get to that cutscene that we mentioned that would be the most powerful thing put on this console.
Yeah, so we talk about the scale of the games on the other systems, and there was a lot more possible on those systems than on the 7800.
Mainly because that was because of the limited space that was given to developers.
Yeah, the ROM carts weren't very big, and where with the Master System and Nintendo Entertainment System, you could have 128 kilobytes up to 640 kilobyte games. Anywhere in between, but they were huge at the time.
But this did have 25 colors on screen.
It did have 25 on-screen colors, but they didn't do much beyond that. They were just kind of there. The levels of animation weren't there that you saw on the other systems. And comparatively, the ROM cartridge size on this were 16 kilobytes to 48 kilobytes, which were... The biggest game on the 7800 could only be about a third as big as the smallest NES game. They just couldn't compete. It was...
And as you can tell from watching this, we have very minimum sound quality. We have punches and kicks, no background music, so you'd probably be having to throw on a cassette at that time. even a record.
Or an 8-track.
Or an 8-track, and jam out your own music.
With stereo sound if you were lucky.
That is right.
I don't know. Weren't CDs out at this time?
They weren't very popular. Only rich people had them and tech geeks.
This definitely wasn't a rich person console.
This definitely wasn't a CD system. This was definitely an 8-track system.
Yes, this was an analog system in every way.
And much like the 8-track, it's long forgotten.
No,
so,
don't run in.
I don't think you're gonna get it, Ray. So let's
move on to a game that is not long forgotten.
Yes.
One
they'll be remembered
forever.
Not long forgotten, but one of the ones that should have been forgotten and perhaps not put on the Atari 2600.
This is true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, it's Donkey Kong.
It's Chewbacca.
I guess this isn't too bad. Except they look like cookies. Mario, don't jump over the cookies. You want to eat the cookies.
Yes, we're looking... Oh, the cookie got you. We're looking at Donkey Kong for the Atari 2600, brought to you by Coleco. Now, that's a lot of things that went down in the history of gaming between those companies. Nintendo, of course, would create their own video game console. Coleco, of course, would have their own video game console. And Coleco is the only company to get the official home version of Donkey Kong, besides, of course, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So they brought it to the Atari.
And we're not sure if this was actually a licensed thing.
Well, it was licensed...
it was licensed by Coleco from Nintendo.
Yes.
We know that. Wow, the hammer doesn't even make any noise.
No.
It just looks like he's blowing one of those little party favors. And Donkey Kong looks like Chewbacca.
Yeah, Donkey Kong is pretty simple there. He has 2 frames of animation. One where he raises his one arm, and another where he raises his other arm. So it's definitely nerfed from the arcade original.
I have to reset here.
Uh...
Had a game over. Too many cookies ate me. So we're continuing here. And there was all kinds of, like, infighting over this game because it was the hottest arcade game going at the time. And it was also during this time that Atari got this license that Nintendo went to Atari to try to release its successful Famicom system over here in the United States. Why did they not go with that?
Because Atari made a lot of bad management choices, and that's in retrospect one of them. I don't know if they thought they were... I suppose they felt that they were going strong enough with their Atari 2600. They had their own machines.
The 5200 was on its way?
They had the 5200. They didn't really perceive a need to sell a game system for another company, I don't think.
Well, I guess. It would have saved them kind of development money. I don't know if they were thinking of that, but...
Well, they were a hardware maker. That's what they did, so they probably wanted to make their own stuff, and they missed out on one of the biggest deals in history. I mean, they could have...
pretty much cleaned house with that.
Absolutely.
The fun is back! Oh yes, siree! It's the 2600 from Atari. It's the video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to cars that roar. A real hit joystick controls the screen. Solaris is hot and Midnight Magic's mean. And one more thing, it's got a special low price, under 50 bucks. 50 bucks? Now isn't that nice? The fun is back! Oh yes, siree! It's the 2600 from Atari.
New Gen Gamers.com.